The third wave was an experimental movement created by the high school history teacher Ron Jones in 1967 to explain how the German population could have accepted the actions of the Nazi regime during the rise of the Third Reich and the Second World War. While Jones taught his students about Nazi Germany during his senior-level contemporary world history class, Jones found it difficult to explain how the German people could have accepted the actions of the Nazis. He decided to create a fictional social movement as a demonstration of the appeal of fascism. On the first day, the experiment began with simple alterations such as proper seating. He wrote "Strength through discipline" on the classroom's chalkboard, then enforced strict classroom discipline while speaking to the importance of discipline. The procedures were simple. Students were expected to sit at attention before the second bell, had to stand up to ask or answer questions and had to do so in 3 words or fewer, and were required to preface each remark with "Mr. Jones." He drilled them on their adherence to these rules. Jones intended only a one-day experiment. On second day, Jones decided to continue the experiment after observing his students' strict adherence to the previous day's rules. He added "strength through community" to the chalkboard, and named his movement the Third Wave. Jones based the name of his movement on the supposed fact that the third in a series of waves is the strongest. Jones created a salute involving a cupped hand reaching across the chest toward the opposite shoulder, resembling a Hitler salute. He ordered class members to salute each other both in and outside of the class. Jones then assigned each of his students an individual assignment, such as designing a third wave banner, stopping non-members from entering the class, or recruiting their friends to join the movement. On third day, the experiment had now taken on a life of its own. Students from across the school joined in. Class expanded from its initial 30 students to a total of 43. Jones added "strength through action" to the chalkboard. Students were issued a member card. Jones instructed the students on how to initiate new members. By the end of the day, the movement had over 200 participants. Jones instructed 3 students to report to him when other members of the movement failed to abide by the rules. He was surprised when around 20 of the students made such reports. A student who expressed concern for Jones's safety volunteered to become his bodyguard. On fourth day, Jones decided to terminate the movement, as it was slipping out of his control. The students had become more and more involved in the project. Jones announced to the class that this movement was a part of a nationwide movement and that on the next day a presidential candidate of the third wave would announce its existence to the public. He ordered students to attend a noon rally on Friday to witness the announcement. Jones also ordered 4 students to banish 3 dissenting students to the school library and to prevent them from attending the rally to emphasize loyalty to the movement's precepts. On fifth and final day, the students all arrived at 11:50 a.m. Jones had convinced a number of his friends to pose as reporters, and asked the students to demonstrate what they had learned in the minutes before the televised address would supposedly begin. He then led them in shouting chants of "strength through discipline," "strength through community," "strength through action." He turned on the TV placed in the middle of the room. Rather than a televised address of their leader, the students were presented with an empty channel. After a few minutes of waiting, Jones announced that they had been a part of an experiment in fascism and that they all had willingly created a sense of superiority, much as German citizens had done in the period of Nazi Germany. He then apologized to them for how far it all had gone, and played them a film about the Nazi regime to conclude the experiment.